What's up, guys? Simon Fan 101 here, and you know, this may look a little different. Just want to get this out of the way. I found a new device to record on, and of course, I'm looking at myself, being recorded. This vantage point does look weird. I know. That's why I'm trying to make it all, not so close up to the face. If there's anything wrong with the how it looks in terms of I guess how my body looks when I'm recording. Just tell me in the comments section if there's any small complaints. So with that said, got a new I didn't get a new recording device. I found another one to record on. So that way, because I've been recording on something else that's been slowly sucking away the space, not the recording itself, but because other people use it too for various things. So, I do ask, could you get rid of some of the stuff so I can record? But the problem is that obviously they don't want to. So I thought, use it on this laptop here that I'm using. And, that we just so happen to have, thank God. And, I found this. This is you can say my first test run. But, let's see how it works out, okay? So, that said, sorry about the no reviews. Now with this, and this recording device also has unlimited time from what I'm seeing. So now I have all the time I damn well want, so I can go back to doing long videos instead of having to shove it into 15 to 17 minutes at most. Yesterday I could barely get 13 minutes. Thank God it was NXT in just six matches, NXT Takeover. Or else I would have been fucked. I can't do Summerslam in 13 minutes. Not with the way I record and review. So with that said, let's get to Summerslam. Speaking of which, we have the opening. First let's get to the pre-show. I didn't watch the pre-show except for Sheamus and Cesaro because I do like their matches. But the pre-show, for anybody who wants to know, it was the Usos, the Hype Bros, and American Alpha. They defeated the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Febreze. And I know they're called Breezango, but fuck it. I'm calling it Febreze. So, they beat Febreze. From what I hear, it was a decent, opening match, technically. Then the match after that was a tag team match between Neville and Sami Zayn against the Dudley Boys. It was the Dudley Boys' last match in WWE. I'll get to that in my Raw review later. That's my problem with that was that why couldn't you get Sami Zayn on the main card after beating Kevin Owens in what was a big match, the best match of the night, and a big storyline match at Battleground? You couldn't put Zayn and Owens, or not Zayn and Owens, but you couldn't put Sami Zayn on the main card. Hell, some people were complaining. I had two matches in mind that could have put him on the main card. One was a match against Bray Wyatt. Although that wouldn't make sense because Bray Wyatt's on SmackDown unless you wanted to do and that was another guy that was missing from SummerSlam. Bray Wyatt was missing from SummerSlam, despite being somewhat instrumental in the build between Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler. I'll get to that match later. But another match I had in mind was another guy, and there was his tag team partner in this match. It was Zayn and Neville. You could have had them in a singles match, take off maybe one match off the main card, put another match on, and you just have a quick exhibition between Neville and Sami Zayn. And I guess trying to show off the Cruiserweight class, basically the Cruiserweight guy, the face of the Cruiserweight division as I'm gonna be seeing him as, and Sami Zayn hot off a win of Kevin Owens. See how it goes from there. So And then and of course it was building up the Dudley Boys breakup again. Get to that on Raw. And of course I saw Sheamus and Cesaro. Pretty good match here. Sheamus won, which makes sense because Cesaro won twice on Raw. I hope this best of 7 series is building up to some kind of something at the end. Whether or not, the winner gets like a universal title shot. It'll be hilarious. It would be hilarious if the winner got a universal title. If that's the case, I would have been rooting for Cesaro because I don't want to see Sheamus as the top champion on Raw. We saw that last November. We all know how that worked out. It fucking sucked. He's treated like a jobber at half the time. But let's get to the actual card. We had Enzo and Cass come out, and they, faced off against Jeri-KO, as they're calling it. This team is a short-term team. I am damn well sure of that. This team is not going to last long, especially since Jericho in a couple months is going to be having a tour with Fozzy. But this is Jericho's best run in WWE in a while. His best heel run since 2008 and 2009. I mean, yeah, he had good heel runs in 2010, 2012, but this is his best heel run since back then. Not so much of his matches. I mean, he had better matches with guys like Punk, Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels, obviously. But, he's still having great matches. This wasn't a great match. This was actually a pretty good match, though. They made Enzo and Cass look a little bit strong here. But, of course, Enzo and Cass lost in their backyard of Brooklyn. Jeri-KO won. I wanted Enzo and Cass to win so that way they can get the rub, but I didn't mind them losing here. But this theme of the wrong people winning, there was a theme throughout the show. The next match, I will excuse it because it was Sasha Banks defending her women's championship against Charlotte. I have to say, the first few minutes of this match was pretty sloppy. I don't know what was going on, and I'm convinced Sasha is going to fucking kill herself. They tried to do like a backdrop or something onto on the corner. Charlotte did, and but the problem is Sasha didn't land. Like her legs landed on the ropes, but Sasha's head didn't land on the ropes. Her body's pretty small, and she didn't do it. Either that or Charlotte did it wrong, and she pretty much got almost like bent in half and backwards. Thankfully, she didn't get hurt. I want to see this woman go all the way until retirement, but I don't want to see her retire a few years from now. I love Sasha Banks, but I do not want to see her like Daniel Bryan. I don't want to see her end up like Daniel Bryan. Because you remember, Daniel Bryan was one of the best wrestlers, but he also took risks. How many times did he go through the ropes and land on his head on the barricade? Especially if he was wrestling The Miz, because The Miz would never catch him. Don't believe me? Go and watch their match back at Night of Champions 2010. It almost looked like The Miz countered, but, Daniel Bryan, but, he just fucking sucks at catching people, unless he's with somebody. Not even then. Whatever. Okay, back to the match. This was a pretty good match by the end of it. Surprisingly enough, Sasha Banks got she did like a tilt-a-whirl into the crossface, the bank statement. But Charlotte, stretched her body out and got the pin on Sasha. And obviously, several people were shocked. I was initially pissed that Charlotte won the title, but when I found out what happened later, I didn't mind it because apparently Sasha's been dealing with lingering back injuries, not surgery, based like she needs to have surgery, but she's been dealing with lingering back injuries that would probably harm her career. So, with that said, I think it was the right choice to put the title back on Charlotte, because if Sasha kept on being champion, who knows what would happen. So they took the safe route. They basically gave the title back to Charlotte, and and I'll explain what happened on Raw the next night. But I hope Sasha comes back soon, in the next couple of months, at the most. The Miz defended the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews. I didn't care for this match, not because I don't care for Apollo Crews, even though the guy has little personality. I didn't care for this match because this match, A, had shit build. I mean, hell, the Intercontinental title build on SmackDown the week before consisted of a fucking commercial break. It was in a commercial break that Crews, confronted Miz. The only time they ever actually did anything together. Speechless I am. Speechless. This match went 5 minutes. It was an okay match for as long as it was, considering it's Apollo Crews in there. I wasn't that shocked. But Miz, for the most part, won clean. Now, when Crews, tried to do a splash, he hit his body or his head on the metal post outside the ring. And now apparently these metal posts have like these little like mini Trons, like Titantrons, on it, which it doesn't look the greatest, especially if you want to ram somebody's head into it in a match. But yeah, Crews tried to do a splash, hit his head on the pole, and Miz beat him with the skull crushing finale. For the most part, it was a clean win. I mean, yeah, Maurice very briefly, interfered or distracted Crews, but that didn't even play into the finish. The finish didn't happen until a good 30 seconds later, and that right there did not play into the finish. So, Miz beat Crews clean. I hope to God that Apollo Crews beats Miz for the Intercontinental title. The guy needs a rub. He needs something. If you want to get this new era going, put on a new face. Miz is not part of the new era. Miz has been around since 2006. It's now 2016. He's been around for 10 years, not including his time on Tough Enough and the developmental, which I believe was OVW back then. So you need a new face. Apollo Crews is that new face. Give him a shot. I'm hoping that they do that at the Backlash pay-per-view coming up in the next few weeks. We had best match of the night: John Cena versus AJ Styles. Now, it could have either been this match or Balor and Rollins, but I was predicting this match to be the match of the night, and I was proven right. Now, just to go back, I did change my opinion slightly on the John Cena Styles match from Money in the Bank. My rating for it hasn't changed, although looking back, yeah, Reigns and Rollins was a better match, but Styles and Cena, they fucking tore the house down there. They tore the house down here even more so. This was the second best WWE match of the year, including both NXT and WWE. If not, then maybe one other match like Owens or Zayn or something like that, or maybe Ibushi and Cedric Alexander. But whatever. Top 5 easily of the year. This match fucking ruled. And what I love so much about it is mainly who won. Styles won clean. No run-in from the club, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. No tease of Finn Balor interfering. We did get a brief backstage segment earlier when Styles met up with Anderson and Gallows, because even though it was a multi-branded pay-per-view, they saw Balor as well, and they went to the Too Cool sign, the club sign. Balor just smiled at them, and then just walked away. So not teasing a heel turn or anything, but just going for the friendship. Like, they're still all friends. Oh, I definitely would love to see Finn Balor and AJ Styles at WrestleMania next year. Although with what happened to Finn Balor recently, Um, I don't know. So yeah. Oh, almost forgot. Well, actually, I'll get to it in a second. But yeah, AJ Styles won clean here. So no interference, nothing happened. John Cena even got a middle to top rope, uh, attitude adjustment in there. Styles still kicked out. Even though it made him look kind of stupid, John Cena had the best look that just said, "How the hell do I beat this guy?" Like, because and JBL I think said it best. John Cena spent his entire career doing that to people. His entire main event run, you know, constantly kicking out of finishers, constantly going against the odds. And now here's a situation where, you know, he cannot put AJ Styles down. That was the story in this match. AJ Styles cannot he cannot put AJ Styles down no matter what he does. He just pulled out his best move. He did the of course he got a terrible looking STF earlier in the match, but still he did his best move from a high altitude no less, and he still could not put down AJ Styles. That's the story they were going for here. That Styles was not going to quit. He was going to beat John Cena no matter what. And that's exactly what happened here. John Cena went for another attitude adjustment. Styles countered, hit him with a Styles clash. Didn't go for the pin attempt. He went outside, because earlier he did a phenomenal forearm and Cena kicked out. But Styles took off the armbands and then hit John Cena with a phenomenal forearm without the armbands. This match was great from beginning to end. This match was awesome. The story in the last match was that Cena could not keep up with AJ Styles. The story in this match was AJ Styles is not going to be put down. Cena cannot put down AJ Styles. So that's what I love. They told really good stories here in both matches, especially here now that Styles actually won clean. And, you know, John Cena left his armband in the ring. He is going to be gone soon. I think he's still working dark matches for the time being, but he is going to be gone doing the season 2 of that reality show that he's doing, or the game show. I don't know what it's called. I forget what it's called. But that's what's going on. Next match we had New Day defending the WWE Tag Team titles versus the Club. Now, of course, the Club lost. Well, they didn't exactly lose, but for some reason they're losing their thunder that they had in New Japan. Basically, Jon Stewart was out there with them, and in an earlier segment, actually after the opening match, Jon Stewart was in a backstage promo with Shane McMahon, Daniel Bryan, and Mick Foley, questioning Mick Foley why he was working with Stephanie, and insulting her, not knowing that Stephanie was right behind him, so I thought that was funny. Then he went to party with the New Day because, you know, they're the New Day. So they were about to give ring postitis to Jon Stewart, and then Big E made his return and, you know, saved Jon Stewart, and attacked Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, by the way. And so basically, even though they didn't win the titles, Anderson and Gallows didn't lose. New Day lost. Anderson and Gallows, they did not lose the match, and therefore guaranteed some kind of rematch, hopefully, at the next pay-per-view, the Raw pay-per-view. I forget what it's called. I think it's Clash of Champions. Which honestly should be just called Clash of the Champions, you know, the old WCW show. Though, of course, if Vince didn't think it, then it didn't happen. That's why there's not going to be any War Games anytime soon, as much as I would love to see War Games. But yeah, I wish, and you know, back to the Cena Styles match. They gave Cena and AJ Styles, they gave AJ Styles a full endorsement by having him feud with Jericho, winning most of the feud, except for the WrestleMania match, which Styles should have won. You know, main eventing 2 pay-per-view WWE title matches with Roman Reigns, beating John Cena, albeit not so clean, at Money in the Bank, but I wish that they did the same with the club, because it wasn't just AJ Styles in New Japan. It was also these other guys. You know, Nakamura's doing great in NXT. He just won the NXT title. Styles just beat Cena. But what about Anderson and Gallows? Those two are big names in New Japan. They were one of the biggest tag teams for years in that promotion. Going back to when the Bullet Club started. So, you know, why do that? Why? First of all, why have Carl Anderson lose in every single match he's in? Or at the very least, if he or the club is going to lose, he's the one that gets pinned. Why not Doc Gallows? Well, or Luke Gallows? Well, my only guess is Luke Gallows is big, so we need to keep him strong. And look, I like the fact that WWE is allowing them to show more of their personality that they didn't show too much in New Japan. But this ring post-itis shit has to stop. And they gotta go back to being the badasses. And I'm going to explain this on Raw when the Dudley Boys retirement speech. I will explain that in another video, in my next video. Sorry about that. So yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why they've been treating them like job guys. Stupid. Next, we had Dean Ambrose defending the WWE title against Dolph Ziggler. I will say this is a good match, but this match was disappointing. This match was disappointing in the sense that the build, this was the best built match up to SummerSlam, which completely baffles me because, you know, you could have had all the other matches be better than it, yet it was Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler, more so than Dolph Ziggler, having the best build SummerSlam match. More so than Lesnar and Orton, more so than Balor and Rollins, more so than Styles and Cena, although Cena and Styles actually came to a close second. But, you know, this had the best built SummerSlam. So I was expecting a great match. But that didn't happen here. And Lundrick said this on his Ask.fm page, and I kind of have to agree. You know, for all the praise we give Dean Ambrose, he's just a pretty good wrestler. He's not a great wrestler. You know, Seth Rollins, he's a great wrestler. Roman Reigns, he's gotten pretty damn good. Dean Ambrose, however, as good as he is, he's almost, you know, he's like a hamster in the wheel. He's running into place. He's not showing off what he could really do. I mean, like let's name some of the great matches Dean Ambrose had. You know, matches with Rollins, the match with Triple H earlier this year. His matches with Owens. But look at the pattern here. All those wrestlers are usually better than he is. Even Triple H at his age. So I think Dean Ambrose is a pretty good wrestler, but he's got to improve. I'm not saying I don't like Dean Ambrose. I still love Dean Ambrose. His personality is awesome. The way he wrestles is still different from other guys, somewhat. And of course, the way he's got that look. Like, you look at all the wrestlers on the roster, Dean Ambrose is distinctly different from the other guys, but he's got to show something. But Dolph Ziggler went up to the top. He went for the X Factor move off the top rope that he's known for. And when he went for the X Factor, but Dean Ambrose landed on his feet, simply got the hooked in the Dirty Deeds finish, and pinned Dolph Ziggler. I would have liked it if Dolph Ziggler kicked out. You know, building this guy up as like this underdog, like he has to win. Kicking out of the Dirty Deeds would have done just that. This is a match, and I'm not the biggest fan of constantly kicking out of each other's finishes. Styles and Cena did it, but that actually worked because they were telling a good story there. It's kind of like what Undertaker and Shawn Michaels did back at WrestleMania 25. But, that would have worked here as well, I think. They didn't do that. They just ended it clean. And it was a good match, but it was disappointing. And I'll talk about Ziggler on SmackDown, which he was much better at than on SummerSlam. I don't know what happened. Although I will say, I did like Dolph Ziggler's tights, the tights that he wore to the ring. He wore like a long, good look. He definitely had like the big match feel to it. I don't know what it was. I don't know. After next match was the six woman tag team match between Natalya. Well, let's go the other team first. Between Becky Lynch, Carmella, and Naomi against Natalya, Alexa Bliss, and the returning Nikki Bella. This actually made sense because before they announced Nikki Bella, Eva Marie didn't come out because remember she's been suspended. But Eva Marie, they hit her music, and he's like, and Eva Marie will not be here tonight because of hostile fans. She has stress and will be vacationing at the whatever islands. Whatever it was, they made a funny little thing of Eva Marie not being there. It was actually pretty funny. So instead, they had Nikki Bella return like a few seconds later. This match, I think, was a decent match, only a little bit better than Apollo Crews and The Miz. But unlike Apollo Crews and The Miz, this match actually got time. I think it got like 11 minutes. Give that time to a Miz and Apollo Crews, they would have had a much better match than the women did here. But the women's revolution, they gotta up the ante. So good match here. Nikki Bella won with the TKO, which after that rack attack screwed up her upper back and her spine, she needed to get a new finish. So it's not like when Abyss does the rack attack. Abyss is a huge guy. He can take that. And the way he did it, it was safe. Nikki Bella, the way she was doing it, constantly was hurting herself. So yeah, she had to give up the rack attack, and instead she went for the TKO, which for a woman is actually a good finish. I mean, for someone like, say, like I know a couple of guys that use the TKO, EC3, Kazarian, but women don't normally use a move like a TKO. Nikki Bella's the first, from what I've seen. I know there's probably another woman out there. You're probably going to correct me, but I haven't seen another woman do a TKO yet. This is the first one for me, so good for Nikki Bella for finding a good finish. Decent match, though. Next, we had Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor for the Universal Championship. And, yeah, I agree with everyone. That Universal title belt sucks. God, that red strap looks fucking horrible. And what's even worse, it was lazy. It's basically just the WWE title, except they put Universal Championship on the bottom of it, and they gave it a giant, ugly-ass red strap. That was absolutely horrible. I was horrified. God. I mean, why? Why in the world not make a new title? I saw mock-ups of what the Universal title could be, and the best one that I saw was, of course, it was like a globe, like a small mini globe design with the WWE logo on a winged eagle belt. I thought a design at least similar to that, or a very different design, could have been pretty good. It could have been awesome. But no. Instead, we got WWE title version 2.0. With that, I think what makes it worse is that that red strap is ugly as fuck. That's what makes it worse. The red strap. It makes me laugh. And now, back to the match. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor, they had a great match here. First of all, they had a great match. And but it was the second best match of the night, I will say. But it was not as good. First of all, it's not as good as Cena and Styles. That was actually the best match of the night. But Balor and Balor and Rollins was not as good as I think it could have been, and part of that has to do with Finn Balor's injury early in the match. Now Finn Balor, what happened was Seth Rollins was outside, and he was going to do the buckle bomb to the barricade, and he's done that before with wrestlers like Dean Ambrose. Now, I think there must have been something went wrong here, and and of course Bret Hart said, "Oh, it's all Seth Rollins' fault." And I'm not saying Seth Rollins is not completely at fault here, because he is, but so is Finn Balor. And I just listened to the Saw Monsters podcast just a few hours ago, and he said it best. And I went back and I watched it a couple times, and I concur. You look at the buckle bomb, both of them are first of all, yes, Finn Balor kind of fucked himself because he put his arm out like this, going for. I actually got my dresser right here, so I can kind of. So he went for the buckle bomb and kind of did that, and then just cranked on it. That actually dislocated his arm, and of course he popped his arm back into place. So, message number one: Finn Balor is one tough. To do something about that. And he can't do it outside the ring because that barricade, that even though it's a padded barricade, that barricade has no give. Very little give to it. But he popped it back into place. Guy's tough as nails, and Balor, much to all of us being somewhat shocked, we thought something was going to happen here. Balor won clean, coup de grace, off the top rope, 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor's new Universal Champion. A great match, don't get me wrong, but I think it could have been better, and I think a good part of why it wasn't as good as it could have been is because of the injury, and both guys realized he was hurt, and they had to play it safe, so they didn't want to go for too many crazy spots. And if you look at what they did in the match, they didn't do too many crazy spots after that. There's a good reason, because of Balor's injury. But great match, just disappointing a little bit. Roman Reigns and Rusev was scheduled to face off, but Reigns was attacked by Rusev just before the match was about to start, and then Reigns was a madman. Now, I like this, even though the match should have, in some ways, could have happened, but I liked it because Reigns and Rusev already had a Raw match. I liked it, and I liked it mostly for one thing. Ass-kicking badass Roman Reigns is the best Roman Reigns. I mean, I like the shit that he did at the wedding segment a few weeks ago, but, this is the best Roman Reigns you want. You want kick-ass Roman Reigns, and I've been saying it ever since they started booking him terribly. Book him like they did with Batista. Batista was not the greatest wrestler. Roman Reigns is better at this point in his career than Batista was at his. Part of that is because Roman Reigns is younger, but at the same time, Reigns, Reigns has that Batista-like quality. Big, he's big, he's badass. You don't want to fuck with the guy. And the way they've been booking him for a while now has not been like that. But they're starting to get better at it. They got him out of the WWE title picture. He's now in the U.S. title picture, at least for the time being. And they're getting better at it. And kick-ass Roman Reigns is the best Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns attacked Rusev, to the point where Rusev got hurt. His ribs got hurt. And right when we all thought it was over, Reigns speared Rusev to hell. So, awesome. Last match of the night. Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. Got some more offense than John Cena did a few years ago, but Brock Lesnar destroyed Orton here. And I'm with everyone else. This Suplex City shit has got to end. It's got to end. Because look at Brock Lesnar this year compared to the other years he's been in WWE. He got on the Suplex City bandwagon, basically. But he's better than this. We saw it last year with great matches with Reigns. The little bit he had with Rollins at a Battleground, as short as it was. With that triple threat match with Cena and Rollins. That was amazing. The matches he had with Undertaker. He's got it in him. But, he was Suplex City in the Royal Rumble match, that makes sense. He had a great match with Reigns and Ambrose at Fastlane, but Ambrose at Romania, that was disappointing, and even Ambrose said himself is disappointing, and the reason why is because all Brock Lesnar Brock Lesnar, in his words, were lazy. All Lesnar did was Suplex City, and that's basically what happened here too. Nothing but Suplex City. God damn it. I'll be right back, guys. Hold on a second. Hey. Sorry about that, guys. The dog was being a little shithead. So, back to what I was talking about. Sorry about the little break, guys. You can skip like a good 30, 40 seconds there. But the Suplex City shit has got to end. Here's the ending. What happened? Basically, the match ended by ref stoppage because Brock Lesnar was kicking too much ass. Now, I liked it, except for one little problem. We just got that the match before with Reigns and Rusev the match didn't even start. And Reigns was kicking too much ass, and the match didn't even start. But, Lesnar and Orton, that match ended because Brock Lesnar was kicking too much ass. The match ended after like 11 to 12 minutes at most. It was an 11-minute long match. Not what you expect for a Summerslam main event with Lesnar and Orton. Orton, the only offense he really got was an RKO on the announce table, then the middle rope DDT in the ring, and then another RKO. That was about it. Other than that, it was all Suplex City. Orton got a few punches here. He got a little bit of offense, but like Cena 2 years ago, he destroyed Orton. I was expecting more here. This Suplex City needs to end. Not doing Suplex City, not more so, but it can't be nothing but Suplex City. Which apparently, hey, all I gotta do is suplex people. That's good for me. I'll do just that. And this shit's gotta stop. It's got to stop. The match officially ended when Brock Lesnar did the cut Orton open hard way by ramming his elbow into Orton's head and causing him to bleed. He bled a lot more here than Cena did in their match back at Extreme Rules in Lesnar's return match. So this match was not on that level, though it did tell a slightly decent story. I take that back. It didn't tell much of a story. It was just a good match. So yeah. God. So that's how the match ended. This SummerSlam show was a good show, but it was disappointing. It was really disappointing. So with that said, guys, tune in on my Raw review soon. And until next time, guys, have a good day. I'll see you with my Raw review later.